Welcome back, YouTube, to some more diving adventures. This time, somewhere other than Mermet Springs. So, the dive club that I belong to, there was a small faction of them that took an incredible trip, so I've heard, to Egypt, where they stayed on a liveaboard boat for, I think it was at least a week, and dove the Red Sea multiple times a day. Then they did some touring in Egypt. I believe they saw some pyramids, those kinds of things. I have yet to see any video or pictures from that trip, but this is not that trip. I did not go. The consolation prize for those of us that stayed behind was Pennyroyal in Kentucky. It is a flooded quarry about 4 hours away from where I live. And I say those of us who stayed behind, it turns out only me and one other decided to go on this trip. It was a weekend trip, so we went to Kentucky, dove 2 dives there, then made our way back to the ever-present Metropolis, Illinois for Mermet Springs the next day. So, still going to get some Mermet in there, just not these first couple of dives. I really enjoyed Pennyroyal. It was bigger than Mermet, certainly. We didn't see anywhere close to all of it, although I think most of it is just kind of empty and vast. But yeah, it was always nice, of course, to try something new. Looking at the dive profile here, you can see we got fairly deep, all the way down to 78 feet. That is about 13 feet deeper than I usually get at Mermet, where I bottom out there at about 65. The temperature was a balmy, let's see, I'm looking at the live graph here, 53 degrees. That's enough to get your attention, even in a wetsuit with hood and gloves. You can see we dropped down kind of deep and then made our way up to the end. That's pretty solid profile. That's what you want. But so I did find a map on the website, a very terrible low resolution quality map, but nonetheless, I'm going to trace out the route really quickly to show you where we went according to my memory, which, since this is months later on the commentary, could be flawed. But I'll show you that, and then we'll get into the footage. All right, just real quick here, I wanted to show you this map. So this is a big site. So we dropped in right around here, and then I think we kind of swam out a little bit, dropped down to this 75, 85 foot part here, and kind of swam up this way, and it kept getting shallower and shallower as we went, although it's not terribly evident from the depth markings there. And then I think we didn't come all the way to the wall. I think we kind of maybe cut short and wrapped around this way and kind of finished out here. I'm looking at my graph again. I finished with about 1,200 pounds of air. So we did not, closer to 1,000. But we did not, bleed all our air out. But I think that's all we did. And the second dive was actually somewhat similar. In the second dive, we kind of wrapped around this area more and saw all this shallow area here. There's a lot of things here to see. This would actually be a great snorkeling quarry. Just because of, all the stuff. Everything here is, 20 feet and above, I think it says, 28 feet there. But never got around over here. I don't know. We can check the numbers to see what some of this stuff is. I'm not going to go through the whole list now, but anyway, that is the approximate dive path we took on this first dive. And on the second dive, I don't know if I'll do this again for the second dive, but it's time to get wet. Let's go. And here we are, finally in the water. You can see a little walk-in ramp there. It was busy. I think I kind of came in on the rocks here. There's my buddy in blue on the shore. Ready to make his infill. Not the most graceful, that he was quick to point out.
All good.
That was a failure.
Don't think there was a whole lot said on the surface here. I think I already spun around, so you got a pretty good look at the quarry. It's pretty impressive. Got some cliffs. I'm sure somebody jumps off those. Not this guy. a little too high for me. Here you can see my computer. I'm putting it in dive mode. It says the battery is okay. And it's got the service interval there and the first number. Well, all the way up top is the depth. This is the first dive of the day, so service interval said 0. Didn't quite catch the rest of it there. I'm not sure what I'm doing there.
Yeah, you want to go that way first? All right. Service swim? On the service?
We'll just get the wall here.
You want to drop down here? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We did not plan the swell out. Or, maybe he did and I didn't listen. We were coming up with a plan right on the surface here. That's fine.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Let's get under the water. Alright, now that I know there's not going to be any more talking, I can go ahead and knock this sponsorship out as we're descending here. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign Regulator Mouthpieces. Are you a hardcore diver who has to make a painful daily choice between straightening your teeth and diving? Compromise no more. You can have both with Invisalign Regulator Mouthpieces. Compatible with nearly all regulators, it's simply a pop-on replacement for your current mouthpiece. Now you can dive all day and keep those pearly whites in line. Makes a great gift too. Put a duplicate mouthpiece on your Dive Buddy's spare Octo to ensure not a moment of straightening time is wasted, even if you're on the brink of drowning. Invisalign Regulator Mouthpieces. Ask your dentist today. Alright. Thank you, Invisalign Regulator Mouthpieces. Keeping divers' teeth straight. Oh, no, I'm just going off script. Okay, what are we looking at here? I haven't been watching much of the video. Looks like Tom is getting his gloves situated. Hey, that's my buddy Tom, by the way. He was the one person who came on this trip while everybody else was in Egypt, although most of the people were doing neither. But he did all the driving, which was awesome. Yeah, there's something about a car ride that puts me to sleep. I'm not good at driving. I don't like driving. And especially not when, you know, we're leaving at 4 a.m. or whatever ungodly hour it was that we left. Like I said, it was about 4 hours away. And so we left early to get here at somewhat a reasonable time. And it turned out we picked a bad weekend. It was, what was it? Women's Dive Day or something? I mean, so they were completely packed. And they even told us when we showed up that you're not going to find any room down there whatsoever. Yeah, so it was pretty steep hill down to the water. And they kind of have, you know, tiers of parking. And we had to park pretty much all the way at the top. I think we got one of the last few spaces that wasn't at the dive shop. So we're already 61 feet down. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So we had to carry our gear, or we were planning on carrying our gear from pretty high up down to the water, but they were actually running ATVs that day to help people carry things, and they said that's not something that they normally do, but considering how busy it was, they were doing that for you, you know, hauling your tanks and all your gear down, which was nice. And we kind of found a picnic table, and turns out we were sharing it with lots of other people. But the schedule worked out, you know, we were in the water when they were using it and vice versa, so it wasn't, and it did not end up being a big problem. Just busy. And, but look, you get to see some things new that are not the same old at Mermet. So that's a rowboat, I suppose. That somebody sunk. Maybe a beaver chewed a hole in it. I don't know. Got ourselves another boat over here. Pretty good visibility, as you can see. I do remember that. Once you drop down here in the cold stuff, people tend not to want to come this deep. Certainly not the newbie students. So, just kind of taking it all in. New place, new things to see. But the quarries are, you know, cold and dark. That part doesn't really change. Is that a gun safe? A refrigerator. There. I think I remember thinking this was a gun safe. Yeah, and then it turned out to be a refrigerator. Or maybe the other way. That does kind of look like it. No, it's a refrigerator. Yeah. No weapons inside, certainly. Yeah, I think I was looking for the combination lock when I closed the door there, just to make sure it was not a gun safe. And, gross. Looks kind of gross in there. I don't want to put my food in there. What are we looking at here? I do not recognize this. Anybody know what this is? Drop a comment. No clue what that is. So they did have some ropes, as you can see. I couldn't really tell you where those go. I assume they connected things. During this whole dive here, we were going uphill. That initial drop down is as deep as we got during the entire trip, really. I don't think we got that deep again, even though we dropped down in a very similar place on the second dive. What did everything on that van say? Bobby? Is that Julie? Bobby and Julie? Alright. See, I'm tempted to start talking about Stranger Things 4. I've been thinking about it. Kind of want to vent. But I'm not sure that the 3 people who watch this, if I'm lucky, are really going to care about that at all. I got one loyal subscriber who probably will watch this. He's a Stranger Things 4 fan. We've already talked about it though, so I don't think there's really any point in repeating myself here. We've already discussed the show. Yeah, I felt like this quarry is a little more spread out than than Mermet. It's bigger. I feel like it's bigger. I know it's bigger. It has to be bigger. I'm normally not good at estimating things like that, but I do think it's bigger. Deeper, I'm not sure about deeper. Might be about the same depth. I have not been anywhere close to the deepest parts of Mermet, so that is a bike tire? Yes. Okay, is this a train car? Kind of looks like it. Maybe a mining car. Interesting. Good for hauling rocks. Those are in long supply around here. Sorry for the bumping. I'm going to type some keys here. So my mic is... I got a long way to go. What do we got? Just trying to get a feel for how much further... Oh, not that much further. 10 minutes maybe. My mic is bolted onto a boom arm, or is attached to a boom arm that's bolted to my table. And man, anytime it's very sensitive, clearly, at least the table, it's just a cheap plastic table. And anytime I touch the mouse or touch the table, you hear that. I'm sure you'll hear that when I listen back to it. Just that low, you know, that low bumping sound. Is this one of the Mermet bikes? Looks awfully familiar. If they got one connected all the way to this quarry, that would be one hell of a swim from Mermet all the way here. I did see the crab box full of beer cans there too. That was interesting find. Normally people pick up trash underwater, but oh yeah, I forgot about the catfish. Buddy Tom found the catfish. I think he was not happy to be disturbed. I'm surprised they were down here. It was cold down here. I didn't know that they were okay with water this cold. Hey, buddy. Sorry we bothered you. I think he wanted to be left alone. He was hanging out on his 1970s TV stand, it looks like. 50 feet. Yeah, I just caught 50 feet there. What do we got here? Another boat. Speedboat. But that towed some skiers back in the day. That metal guard needs some repair work. What do we got on the windshield here? Caleb Pitts. All right, Caleb. Caleb Pitts was here. I'll look you up. Writing your full name is... You're gonna regret it. Oh, I got caught on the rope there. There's oh yeah, shopping cart. I remember the shopping cart. Any groceries in there? Some beer in there? Yeah. Uh-oh. Is that a beer in there? I could go for a frosty underwater. Got to hone in on this. Circling, circling, circling. Here we go. Time to make the drop down. There's the descent. Is that a pipe bomb? Oh, no. That was, not with that top. It's not. Sanitary wipes, I think. Jeez, nobody's picked that up in a while. What? Well, since I still don't know the angle on my camera, yeah, those are Lysol, X-brand Lysol wipes, I think. Why would somebody twist tie that to a cage? I guess because if it's just floating freely, it becomes garbage. But since it's attached to something, it's a point of interest. Yeah, here's the phone booth. I remember the phone booth, or what's left of it. Does that say 10 cents long distance? That's a deal. 10 cents a minute. You guys ever used a payphone? I remember back in the day, I used to use payphones. Showing my age. Yeah, I had a, back when I was in middle school, and even in high school even, but certainly middle school. Uh-oh, Tom's getting away from me. Yeah, you know, my buddies go to the movies. My mom would drop me off or something, and you know, call me when you're done. And you know, this is before cell phones, or certainly before I had one. I guess that's Daddy-O's boat. But so I had this calling card. I remember I had this calling card from MCI, and it was a 1-800 number. And basically, it put the call through, and I guess, you know, you called the generic 1-800 number, and then you call it, and then you dialed in the specific number on your card, and then you called the number you wanted to call. So that's how they tracked the minutes you talked. But it was 1-800, so you know you didn't need any change on the payphone. So I had this MCI calling card to summon my mother when it came time to pick me and my friends up from the movies. And that must have been middle school and in early high school before I started driving. But that all went the way of the dodo bird. I got a cell phone, I think I was 16. I got a Motorola StarTAC, a flip phone. Love that phone. I still have it, actually. Sadly, it no longer works, I don't think. I mean, the battery is long dead. The AC adapter is probably lost. I don't think I have it anymore, so there's not even a prayer of me trying to turn that sucker on anymore. But man, I love that phone. That phone was still one of my favorites. I see we just flipped from blue to green. It's magic water. And back to blue. Yeah, I remember, man, what could that thing do? I think it could, like, receive email, but I couldn't send it. So I remember one of my friends used to, like, and they had to be short messages, but there was an email address through Verizon that would link to that phone or something, and you could probably get to it online, I don't know. But I remember sitting there in fourth period, pre-calculus, I think it was. Pre-calculus? Yes. And my friend would be sending me these texts, I guess you could call them text messages. Like, they were like one-way text messages, though, that only I could read and couldn't respond to. But that was the coolest, you know? It's like, man, I'm getting messages on this phone, this magic device. Yeah, that was cool. Just a dot matrix screen with one of those, you know, Timex Indigolo backlit things. And actually, my dive computer has that same thing. I can fire up a light underwater if I need to. But I never use it because I think it drains the battery, and you know, I have a big honking light on my left wrist, so if I need to see my computer, I just shine that on it. What are we looking at here? Oh, yes, I remember this guy. There's something, people love putting skeletons underwater. I don't know what it is exactly. Oh man, I read something the other day about pirates that I never knew was true. And actually this thing, well, I didn't even know it was the, well, what's the word? Stereotypes, not the right word, but like, I didn't know people thought this was common knowledge. I was reading, I just stumbled on something on the internet, like a fact sheet about pirates, historical pirates. You know, comparing the the realities of pirates to how they're depicted in movies and things. And one of them was like, no, hold on. Yeah, I was curious what was going on here. I guess this roof, they're using this like yellow ball to prop the rest of this roof up to support it. I don't know. The whole thing seems kind of dangerous to me. I'm surprised they just don't go and totally cut all that rusty metal out of there and sand it down a little bit. But anyway, back to the pirates. So I guess it's like common knowledge, everybody knew this except me, that pirates wore an eye patch so they could go down to a dark room in their boat and lift up the eye patch and have one eye that was already adjusted to the dark light. I always figured they wore an eye patch because they were missing an eye. Yeah. But apparently it's like accepted Hollywood lore that pirates wear an eye patch to keep one eye adjusted to darkness. So, like I said, they could jump down into a dark room on their boat and not have to wait for their eyes to adjust. But apparently that's not necessarily true, or they don't know it or something. Or anyway, according to this thing I read, so I just thought that whole thing was kind of interesting. I learned something and then learned it might not even be true. The skeletons. People love putting the skeletons in the water. I learned that in Phoenix too. I went diving in Phoenix. Stay tuned. You'll see some of those videos. I'm about to do a swim through here, which I think did not go super well. Kind of embarrassing. That's a big hole. I should be able to fit through that. I think I kicked it. Yeah, it won't be on camera, but I'm pretty sure I kicked it. It's kind of be a little tough sometimes to know exactly where your fin tips are. Yeah, if I hadn't said anything, you never would have known that I kicked it. Yeah, you'll see in Phoenix, there's at least 5 or 6 skeletons underwater there. There's a point of interest in the lake I dove at called the poker table, and they got 4 skeletons seated around this table. I guess they're supposed to be playing poker. There's no cards that I remember, but that would be a difficult prop to keep alive under the water. But they all had regulators jammed in their mouths. That part was kind of cool. So, yeah, so at this point you can see the visibility's getting worse. We're definitely, well, actually it's pretty good there. Getting toward the end though. There's the surface. Yeah, I don't know, what are we, 30 feet deep? 40 feet deep? Tom's taking a look. It's pretty good visibility. I'd say certainly, at least at this time of year, it's better than Mermet. But, you know, Mermet, if you get down deep enough, it's usually pretty decent. October is the best time to dive Mermet. If you ever around southern Illinois looking for somewhere to dive in October, definitely go to Mermet. Catch the jellyfish. I think that's about all there is to see on this dive. Not much, unfortunately. Left, I mean. We saw a lot down there. Refrigerator slash gun safe. The shopping cart and crab box. Or probably just a shopping cart basket. Actually, it looked like a basket that you put on those electric scooters at the the grocery store. Maybe that's what it was. It had the 3 beer cans in it. I didn't try to pick those up. Whoa. Oh, yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, these fish, one of these nipped me, man. Might have been that one. Just thought I was something good to eat. I felt it. He took a nip. Hey, buddy. Awfully curious. I do like it when the fish come at you and they're just, yeah, there's some Yana sauce in the frame. And they're just, so curious. Who is this? What are you doing here? I see divers every day, but, very funny. Well, that's going to do it for this dive, I think. Yeah, we're definitely wrapping up. We did one more in this quarry. We kept it a little more shallow the next time. More things to see. But stick around, and I'll see you at that one. Later.